welcome to the stream. My name is Lee. More on the she side vibes today, but here they is fine. As long as you remember that I'm not truly a woman, we're good. Lesbian vibes today, actually. Mostly it's just my chest is sore and I don't feel like going for the binder when I don't have to. But anyway, welcome to the stream. My plan for today, such as it is to do another 40k stream. So, for those of you who, I'll change the thing now. I'm changing it now. Hang on. Hang on. Was Good Morning Greyhawk the last? Yeah, okay. Which means I haven't streamed all week, and I usually stream. I was streaming 4 or 5 days a week until I wasn't. So clearly, I need to get back in the habit of that, which means that I need to figure something out. We're going to go to here. I had to get a root canal, so I've been, you know how it is, doing all this stuff, and do I have table dungeons? Okay, you know what, we're gonna have to change it back to, you know what, okay, we're gonna lie a little bit on the thing, and also, let's, oh hey, they put up the thing. So this is, it automatically had the thing. This is what I was working on before the stream. Is Baisky, as in Mama Baisky, who's a streamer on Twitch who you probably should follow. She's pretty cool. I've been working on a tabletop RPG scenario write-up for her, and this is proof that I'm actually working on it. For those who might be watching later, and I promised I'd write it up, and it is slow going. But I did, in fact, write... here we go. I'm gonna... Is anyone else... No, last person, Thursday. Oh, tonight, actually, at 7:30, Lord Gazumba's going to be on. So, I can't go because I'll be at work, but absolutely you should do that. I'm going to leave, but I'm going to go to, where am I going? In any case, today is Warhammer 40. So, Tuesdays and Thursdays tend to be Warhammer 40k days. So I'm going to, and I haven't done a Warhammer 40k day in a while because I've been missing so many streams, and there's this and one more thing, and then I promise I'll get to actually streaming. Okay, so we're doing Warhammer 40k streams. Alright, let's see. We're gonna hit save, because you always hit save. Alright, hit save. There we go. Also, and, let's... monkey... I have this, Okay, so let me open up, this is where I would ask if anyone wanted to, do Death Watch. See... Hi! Dirk, welcome, welcome! Yay! I used to have a thing for lurking, but I appreciate it. I used to have a little thing that did that would, tell the lurkers how much I appreciated them. But yes, you are, always welcome to lurk. Fun stuff. Yeah, I was gonna do Warhammer 40k World. Let me see what I can do with that. I'm gonna go and find... artillery is... Whoa, yes, this is a random bit of the Renthok. Let me... Okay, wait, hang on. No, that's the Renthok. I could read aloud from the Renthok. Ultra rounds. No, we were doing ultra rounds. There we go. So, Roboute Guilliman is their Primarch. They're a, second founding chapter, I think is the technical term, is they were formed right after, let me double check the, so I'm working on, the Ultra Rounds are I should say, a Space Marine chapter that I created, Space Marine chapters, yes. Yes. Existing loyalist Space Marine legions into the far smaller 1,000-man autonomous chapters of Space Marines as decreed by the Codex Astartes, written by the Ultramarines Primarch Roboute Guilliman. The remaining loyalist Space Marine legions were divided into smaller successor chapters. One chapter maintained their parent legion's original name, badge, and colors, while the remaining chapters took new names and heraldry. There were several chapters, of course, that refused to properly divide, who exist as chapters, but they don't follow the Codex Astartes the way they do. Actually, though, here's the thing. Would it be possible, now hear me out, for a legion to go beyond, like, start as a, Astartes, alright, let's see. Codex compliant, sort of, partially. Now, the Ultra Rounds, so if the... Yes, they were founded during the Great Crusade, right, but they were one of the legions, the, Ultramarines, the Blueberries, as it were. And then when the Codex Astartes, after the, Horus Heresy, they, get brought back, they were the ones who pushed the Codex Astartes, and they broke the chapter, the Legion, the Ultramarine Legion, into all these different chapters. And what, that did was, it, you know, the Ultramarine successor chapters, this one is a little more chill than the others, I will say. I made it especially to be more chill than the others, as chill as a Space Marine chapter can be, I will say. But is it possible for a successor chapter to, say, drift away from the Primarch? Also, I'm gonna say partially. Of the key differences is that the um um is that the vast bulk of the librarians in the Ultramarine chapter, Legion, were sent with the with their founding chapter master. Well, that's the point, is I think they were more on the salamander end of the scale than the, that is to say that they were more civilly focused than, the original Ultramarines, and therefore got, more of a salamandery attitude toward, civilians, which then, over the years of being separate, kind of made them they cut ties with the when they cut ties with the Ultramarine, they became much more civilly minded, so more like the salamanders, and which, you know, are about as chill as Space Marine chapters ever get. They're not as chill as the salamanders, I would say, but they're definitely more chill than the regular Ultramarines, and less of a whole thing. Right. Yeah, they forged their own histories and traditions separate from their old, and a lot of that's, the Ultra Rounds came from the early settlement of their, chapter base, and because they were sent to fight off, essentially, well, the chapter history. I haven't actually have it written up. I had a copy written down somewhere, and I never properly wrote it out, so this is what I'm doing now with the Ultra Rounds, is try to write it out and kind of share the creation process with you guys. Because I think they're really cool. Basically, a lot of the librarians, because they had just kind of shuttered around their librarian program, and they had just gone through with the Council of Nicaea, and they were kind of in a weird limbo place with all the librarians, so they just sent them all with one chapter. So it had a really, really disproportionately high, every single squad of the chapter has its own librarian. They have one librarian per squad, as opposed to one per, you know, a handful per chapter. They have one per squad. And, at least, you know, and it's just, a whole thing. Alright. Of course, it has to have their own chapter of, No! Librarians as in powerful psychers who frickin' channeled the power of the warp to make the whole frickin' thing run. Like, they have four second founding chapters, successor chapters, that don't have that don't, you don't know, like, come on, they're second founding. How do you lose track of second founding? Like, they actually put sorry, I'm working on the Warhammer 40k fandom wiki. But how do you lose track of your freaking founding wiki? Like, second founding. How do you lose track at that point? Like, after the second founding, you're not officially successor chapters, and, you know, it's a whole thing. But how do you lose track of a second founding chapter's parent legion? Like, at what point do you, like, you, second you can't, how do you lose track that fast? That is, stop it, thank you. But yeah, yeah, the Ultramarines had the most, and the Space Wolves, had the least, and the Salamanders don't have any because they were, both determined to not, do Majiggy go with them. The Space Wolves, the White Scars had like a handful of them, actually. The the Angels and the Raven Guard had a few, but, the, freaking, what, how do you lose track of a second founding chapter's progenitor? Like, okay, yeah, in later chapters, later foundings, they didn't specify they were successor chapters, and yeah, okay, records get lost to time, but a freaking second founding one, yeah, these were the same people who were fighting alongside the Primarchs. They're not, anyway, I'm getting distracted, and I'm okay, so every squad has its own librarian, which is important. Yes. Founding second, the chapter master also by tradition, the chapter master and the scout master are one and the same. That's a big, are one and the same, and has one of the lowest rates of failure. All right, and All right. What was I? Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting. So yeah, the Scoutmaster and the Chapter Master are one and the same. Since the I think I want to do a little research actually at the Ultramarines. Nope, stop it. Ultramarines. Although I don't know. Yeah, okay, blueberries. What I meant is scout. I want to make sure I'm getting my terminology. Astartes. Okay. Master of Recruits. Base Marine Captain of the Codex Astartes compliant Captain Chapter who has been designated by the Chapter Master with responsibility of training all the chapter's neophytes and who usually also serves as the commander. Right. So Master of Recruits. The Chapter Master and the Master of Recruits are the same, one and the same. Scout. You see, this is why. The question is, did they have more than one? So the question is, I don't know if there was only one before the Codex Astartes. Was there only one in the Legions? That remains to be seen. What was I doing? Oh, yes. Shoot, go away. Thank you. My point, pseudo-Latin names and their strict adherence to the Codex Astartes will the Society of the Homeworld Macragge and the chapter's method of recruitment. The Master of Ultramar, personify everything the Astartes stand for, Ultramarines, blah, 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 blueberries. I'm reading the Codex on the other, the reason, okay, so, In's Master of Recruits was the first chapter master. And most of the neophytes were sent as, and most of the founding members of the chapter were, in fact, neophytes. Of the chapter. Were basically the way I wanted to do, my grand idea behind the Ultra Rounds, was that Roboute Guilliman, right, trying to divide up his Grand Legion into chapters, realized that there's all these neophytes, there's all these librarians, and he wanted to have full chapters. So he just said, all right, all the librarians and neophytes get lumped together into a chapter, and they get sent out on a random mission. And one, with the Master Recruits, and they, line up all the scouts and neophytes and the librarians, the extra librarians who were, because the Council of Nicaea, not the Council of Nicaea, I think it, there was, which was the one that limited librarian use during the, it was just during the, if I remember correctly, the history of Warhammer 40k universe, which, granted, it's been a while since this was my thing. They had a whole, the Legions came together and they banned the use of librarians, or they severely limited it. And then after the Codex Astartes was created, they allowed librarians again, but it was in a limited capacity. And so Roberta Guilliman had a lot of librarians who were in kind of limbo after that decision of strictly layering them out. And so when he was, parceling them out to successor chapters, he dumped all the librarians on this particular chapter. I suppose I should double check that Firehawk suspected. I don't know if they already exist, but that's the thing. I can't know all of the successor chapters that are already being created, and therefore, it's quite possible that, someone else already, we're gonna go with it, having not done it. That's my plan, because this is something I felt passionately about. I wanted to create the Ultra Rounds and their whole story. Neophytes and Scouts. And one, first, there's a technical term, if I remember correctly, for the first veteran squad of the company, the Codex Astartes. Okay. Okay. We're doing a lot of random research on the back downer here. Codex Astartes. Here we go. Veteran company. Here we go. All right. Marine chapter organization. Should be split into 10 companies, 100 Space Marines each, plus Space Marine captain, apothecary, standard bearer, and chaplain for each country. Each company. And then the librarium, so instead of having the chapters, they had one apothecary per company, which, anyway, existing outside the company level organization, each chapter has an armory, consisting of chapters tech marines, main battle tanks and other armored vehicles, a librarium, consisting of chapters librarians, a chapter fleet with the chapter master, plus various headquarters staff and the chapter servitors and the human chapter serfs. The first company of the chapter consists of veteran squads and or Terminator squads. Support for the first company consists of Land Raiders and Venerable Dreadnoughts. Only the first company may use the chapter's halo suits of Terminator armor if it is lucky enough to possess any. The second, third, fourth, and fifth companies, battle companies, have the same tactical organization. And then there's this 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th companies are the reserve. 6th and 7th being tactical squads, 8 assault squads, and 9 is Devastator squads. Rhino and Razorback Dreadnoughts are usually only found in the 9th company with the Devastator squads. Can be deployed on Marine assault bikes, and the 7th on land speeders. The 8th company can use either. The 6th is all assault bikes, the 7th is all land speeders, the 8th can use either. These forces are held in reserve to be deployed at discretion of force commanders as tactical situations evolve, often to bolster weak points or aid in breaking through enemy lines at specific locations. 10th company is the in squad. 100 Astartes strong as stringent recruitments. Standards that provide steady flow of neophytes. Such the 10th company is the most lightly armored and most often used as reconnaissance or guerrilla forces. Scout Marines sometimes get the bikes, but do not use Riser or Razor bikes. Primus Space Marines, right, which is after Roberta Guilliman came out of the thing, which is way, way, way in the future. not way in the future, but we're setting Legion of the Damned. I will have to look into that. Give me a sec. Sorry, I'm not paying as much attention to chat as I... No, not that. As I normally do, because I've been reading up on various 40k fandom wiki. Here we go. Mysterious brand of space marines which appear unbidden when all hope seems lost, striding forth from the hidden netherworld and the immaterium to bring retribution for the... Ooh, the 21st... yes. Yes. They don't even have any... They don't... No one knows where they come from. They just kind of appear when all hope seems lost. Allegedly, Gilliman. All ranks in company hierarchy are abolished. Oh, dang. So they think they're the Firehawks, but no one knows for sure. That is actually kind of cool. Greg. Oh. Alright, my tooth is starting to hurt more. But like, not enough to actually hurt. You know what I mean? Oh, that's... Oh, yeah. Okay, so... What do we have here? Let me look at... Successors of the Ultramarines. No successor chat. Are there, Primarch? We need to figure out... Okay, Fortress Monastery. So the Fortress Monastery is... That's the important part, right? What do you... Oh, okay, hang on. Let me also make this A times New Roman, because fuck Calibri. I don't know why it decided Calibri was... And I don't know how to convince it that that's not what you really should be doing with your life. Times New Roman. Hang on. Beautiful. Then we go to... I'll bump it up a little bit to make it easier to see on stream and also just make my life easier. Codex compliant partially. They have, how many they have more companies. I have more dreadnoughts. Like, I want to say, okay, dreadnoughts. Let me see the venerable dreadnoughts or the regular dreadnoughts. Okay, so Vanguard Marine troops. Okay, the first company. The and a single company of veterans who no, it wasn't even a whole company. It was a single company of... No, it was a single squad. So, instead of having a librarian, they have the... So, they don't have a librarian, they have Um, they have. Ooh, my mustache is looking. I'll have to shave it off though for the. Dang it. I mean, it's not much of a mustache, mind you. It's just. If you shave everywhere except your upper lip consistently, the hair, you get more hair on your upper lip, and it's peach fuzz, and it's not much, but it does tend to stand out a little bit more. I don't shave as consistently as I probably should, because I don't grow enough hair yet. Give me a chance to be on the T, and I will, but, you know. Ooh, interesting. They got a whole vibe going on of they have warp powers as they're also being slowly killed. Alright, Armor's worn. Are considered the sets because they're more holy chapter relics. So they have a what do they have? They have the sorry, I'm blanking on the names of their holy chapter relics, but oh no, dreadnoughts. What was I gonna check on the dreadnought sitch? Tactical dreadnought armor. Hang on a second. No, tactical dreadnought armor. Tactical armor. Oh. Yes. No, not dreadnoughts. That's the wrong one. I need the Codex Astartes. The dreadnoughts. The fire support squads, aggressors, lines, Turian warship pilots, close support, outrider squad, storm, no. Jump packs, neophyte scout, the Vanguard Space Marine. Of 10 Vanguard Space Marine squads. Oh, okay, right. Scout company. Dreadnoughts. Okay. Of intermediate size used by. Nope. Stop it. By the chapters of the Adeptus Arbites. No, stop it. As heavy infantry support for their Space Marine companies. The most common form of dreadnought deployed in the late 41st millennium is officially designated the Craft Castraferum pattern dreadnought. Even Superman space machines are still mortal and can be felled in battle, despite legends to the contrary amongst the common people of the Imperium of Man. Dreadnoughts are war incarnate, towering machines that advance forward with thunderous strides, fiery death roaring from myriad of heavy weapons mounted on their hulls. They are terrifying foes, fighting with all the skill and ferocity of a Space Marine, combined with the durability and firepower of a battle tank. Dreadnoughts are often mistaken by mortal observers for huge suits of battle armor or robots. They are similarly to both, and yet neither. Dreadnoughts are a combination of armored walker and cybernetic life support system. Their pilots are neurally linked straight to the Dreadnought's cybernetic systems and are able to use walker as if they were their own body, although they are permanently entombed within the ceramite skin until they are destroyed. When the greatest of the Astartes are crippled in combat, and the Battle Brother's body will be repaired and transferred into an armored cyborganic sarcophagus outfitted with extensive light support systems. The sarcophagus is then interred within the heart of the armored torso of Dreadnought, if there's even a spark of life left. The pilot himself survives only his tightly curled and shriveled organic component deep inside the Dreadnought, which is at once his reborn body and his tomb. Staying and kept alive within the sarcophagus, the link between the physical being and the Dreadnought systems is absolute and for the remainder of his life. Space Marines within the sarcophagus will control the robotic body of the Walker and experience the outside world through a web of cyber-organic neural links and sensors implanted within life support systems. The sepulchre that contains the chapter's Dreadnoughts is a holy shrine, and the Tech Marines tend to their charges with great care, fastidiously applying sacred oils and unguents while chanting litanies of preservation. To honor these courageous warriors, the fallen heroes are allowed to sleep away the Terran centuries until the need calls them to war once more. Space Marines encased within Dreadnoughts are often thousands of Terran years old. As a result of their great age, many Dreadnoughts, known as Venerable Dreadnoughts, are not only approached by their battle brothers for support in combat, but also advisors in the governance of their chapter. The oldest Dreadnought in the Imperium, Bjorn the Fell-Handed of the Space Wolves, was a member of Primarch Leman Russ's retinue and fought in the Horus Heresy when he was still a whole of body, making him well over 10,000 standard Terran years old. When the Dreadnoughts are not in their use by their chapter, they are packed back in the chapter's chapel of its Fortress Monastery, sleep away the centuries in the form of suspended animation until they are needed once more. As they sleep, the sepulchres in the armory that houses the Dreadnoughts are regarded as sacred shrines to the Dreadnoughts' battle brothers, and Tech Marines dedicatedly anoint them when sacred bombs and oil on a daily basis. Dreadnoughts are highly revered by their brothers for their wisdom and strength, and some Space Marines attend to them to pay their respects even while they sleep. Where's the formations, variants? There was a chapter-specific Dreadnought variants. All right. I was trying to remember, processed is corpse starch. Yeah, even in death we still serve. Fun fact about corpse starch, on Renthok, which is a planet that I created for... I actually have a YouTube video explaining the deal with Renthok. If you... I can link Bajiki, what's it? Actually, give me a second. I can do even better. I can find you the video directly because it's apparently it comes up on search because one of my ooh, 9 views. All right. But basically, on Renthok, a common saying is, you know, when I get turned into corpse starch, I'm gonna come back and haunt you from the inside, because it's an understood thing that you're gonna get recycled into corpse starch when you die on Renthok, and it's kind of a thing that people say. They don't actually mean it, because even if you did get recycled to corpse starch, there's no way you can choose who you get to hunt from the inside, but they'll still say it. But it's an understood thing that you will get eaten by your people eventually. The Dreadnought, other patterns, no, it was the, notable Dreadnoughts is probably the last section, right? Oh, Chaos Dreadnoughts. Right, that's a thing. Which is... yes. Other ones. Notable Chaos Dreadnoughts. Okay. Non-human variants. Wraith Lords. Which don't actually have robotic warriors. Repository for the animating soul of a dead Eldar hero. So they only get the souls. They're basically ghost. Previous versions. What I was hoping to find was fudging. Not knowledge and what was the thing that I was hoping to find? Well, anyway, they have a considered holy chapter relics. Chapter dreadnoughts are also has more dreadnoughts. How do you spell dreadnought? N-O-U-G-H-T. No, stop it. Thank you. Okay, 235. I started at 145, so, ooh. I want to know about that. Has more dreadnoughts than most other chapters. And dreadnoughts are considered, it's considered I mean, well. And dreadnoughts, and dreadnoughts are, never put into suspended animation. Rather, also the scout companies cut their teeth on, well, arcs, but that's a whole other thing of, rather the dreadnoughts are sorry, I'm trying to are regularly deployed with the reserve company. Also, with battle companies, they also don't do the whole reserve regularly deployed with battle companies as standard. Third loadout. As part of their standard attack patterns, meaning that you always bring the Dreadnought into battles. Okay, well, Dark Eldar, only the Dark Eldar automatically get Slaaneshi. I think only the Dark, oh, wow. Oh, wow, there's a new Dominic Noble video out. I'm pretty sure only the Dark Eldar are automatically property of Slaanesh when they die. Although that could just be me. I think the Craftworld Eldar avoided that fate for the most part. Although I'm not I do not know for sure. As part of their standard attack patterns. Although they are still housed. Are still considered. How to explain that? The dreadnoughts. Sepulcher. Their sepulchers are still considered holy sites. Is still considered a holy site within the fortress monastery. I'd say it has about 20 companies. Yeah, it has. I would say it has. Yeah, 20 companies. It consists of 20 companies instead of 10. But it's still a whole thing. And Sorry. But yes. Let's see. So dreadnoughts, the sepulchres, are still considered holy sites within the fortress monastery. Um. Guarded and cared for by the Tech Marines. So, the Tech Marines. Hang on a second. The Codex Astartes. Let me. Frigging. Okay, Ultramarines, we don't need this. We need the Codex Astartes. That's the one we need. That's the Legion of... No, we need the Codex Astartes. Alright. Right, so we have the... No. Shoot, go away. Thank you. We need, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Oh, wow. Okay, so the frickin' Codex Astartes did a whole, plus a captain, apothecary, standard bearer, and chaplain for each company. Each chapter adds an a librarian. All right, that was the other main difference. Would be that the armors. All right, Tech Marines were. This is being weird. It's not like it hurts. It just. I don't know how to explain it. It really needs a crown is what it needs. Um... All right. It doesn't. I mean, it is not being a royal pain. But, all right. Okay. Okay. At 3. I'm gonna end the stream at 3, and I think that'd be a good idea. But, all right. So, yes. The Tech Marines, I would almost imagine, yeah, because if you're gonna put the librarians in, then you really would put the Tech Marines as well. That probably started out, maybe, fuck it, each squad, has a Tech Marine, yeah. Are to either each, fucking, either one per chapter or one per squad. They're not, also not kept separate, because if you're not going to keep the librarians separate, you really don't keep the Tech Marines separate. It makes sense. I mean, that's probably why, are assigned to, each company. Then being separate. The first companies the 19th and 20th companies being the Scout Company. Um, Monastery. Okay. So the Tech Marines. Okay. There we go. So that's another thing is the Tech Marines. The 19th and 20th and 20th companies are uh 20th companies are what are they? Are at the Fortress Monastery. Monastery. Yeah, that. Okay, so the Fortress Monastery. Okay. The homeworld. Let me see. We're gonna figure out what's homeworld. Do you want to name the homeworld? You actually could, because I need a homeworld, someone to name the homeworld, and if you're here, naming the homeworld would be pretty cool. Okay. Bacon. Bacon is delicious, I agree, but homeworld. I mean, I agree bacon is delicious, but fudge. Okay. We need a good one. The Fortress Monastery. I know the Fortress Monastery. Monastery. Is on the moon of said homeworld. Of said homeworld. After a deal with after they'd freed the planet. From the first Chaos invasion. Chaos invasion. Then from orcs. the moon had formerly been a mining colony until it was formerly been a mining colony until it was taken over by all right. Sorry, I'm spacing. I need until it was taken over and the chapter was granted the moon on conditions of freeing it. On conditions of freeing it. So it was basically they were sent out to free this as part of the founding of the chapter. They were sent out to free this planet and then make it their chapter monastery. After talking to the planetary governor, they agreed to flee the moon as well, and then took the moon, and then were granted the moon as in perpetuity, mind you, on the condition of freeing it. Good time zones. Hello, welcome. I was ending the stream soon, but do you have any good idea for a chapter? I don't know how familiar you are with Warhammer 40k. If you are not familiar with Warhammer 40k, I can give you the lowdown on a little bit of it. It's how to explain 40k. It's a lot. But basically it takes place in the far distant future of the 41st millennium after the expansion of the human empire, and then during the Dark Age of technology, and then what happens after that? The breakdown after after basically the Eldar created a new chaos god. They're aliens. Created a new chaos god, and so warp, which is the realm of thought, which is used for fast light travel, became unstable. The appearance of psychers happened, which led to a lot of chaos, a lot of problems, because humans with psychic powers, while they have a huge advantage, can also be used to let demons from the warp into real space via their minds, which is a problem. So after that happened, there was 10,000 years of misery and decay and AI rebellion, and then the Emperor, who was a superhuman who had been kind of hiding on Earth and trying to puppeteer us from the shadow, took over, conquered Earth, created his superhuman sons, got his superhuman sons stolen by chaos and scattered across the stars, went on a crusade to get them back, and then after he rebuilt the human Imperium and generally got things under control, he was basically half his sons got corrupted by chaos and rebelled on him. So after that civil war, which was in the year 30,000, so 28,000 years, 28,000 years from now, essentially, is when this would happen in the timeline of 40k. I don't know if we're on track for it or not, but it's a prediction. The Emperor, basically there was the civil war, and after that the Imperium kind of did its best to put itself back together. Oh! So you know Rogue Trader. Yeah, so you guys know Rogue Trader. Orcs are not the best boys. Salamanders are best. The salamanders are the most amazing of factions. Orcs are just murder-hungry, sentient mushrooms that want nothing but warfare. I mean, yeah, the Ultramarines are ripe for teasing. They're kind of silly, but which is the Space Marine chapter. Love the Emperor Else is certainly a good solid start in the Imperium, because then the Inquisition, which is like the Spanish Inquisition if they had spaceships and more untapped actual authority than they did, which, to be fair, was already way more than they should have had. Basically, they will kill you if you don't love the Emperor enough, or if you get involved with Chaos. And the sad thing is because Chaos does what Chaos does, Orcs with a K. It's specifically spelled with a K because they copyrighted that, I think, the Orc with a K. Or to distinguish them from Warhammer Fantasy Orcs, which is with a C, and Tolkienian Orcs, also with a C. Orcs with a K is for 40K. Rogue Trader, I run a couple Rogue Trader games. They are quite fun. But, so Space Marines are the superhuman descendants of the Emperor's, superhuman sons. Yes. But I like to keep Orc with a K as a way of telling them apart. But, the point on that, so the Space Marines are the Warhammer, they're young, promising young men who get implanted with, genetic organs from every, they get implanted with organs grown from the gene seed of the Primarchs, who are the Emperor's superhuman lab-created sons. And they get, because of all these organs, they can do things like see in the dark and breathe underwater. I think they have I think some of them have gills. They can smell really well. They can eat creatures and gain genetic memories and gain their memories. They can fight harder and longer than any mere human. They are essentially the perfect soldiers, and given that the Imperium is on war at 99 fronts on any given day, at the very least, they need all help they can get. So, because there's rebellions, sure. There's chaos, which is infected with the thought realm of pure evil, which is the warp. You also have orcs who just want to fight everything. You have the Eldar, the Dark Eldar, who want to take over thing. You got the regular Eldar, who have their own, and the Tau, who have their own expansionist agendas. And part of that is destroying the humans. You got every other Xenos. Because humanity started trying to kill all Xenos ever because of the orcs, then all the other Xenos that they tried to kill but couldn't kind of got pissy and decided to try to kill them back. So, yes, it is a mess that the humans are making that almost every Xenos species wants to kill them, but it also is a problem, and they still want to kill all the other Xenos species, even the ones that don't want to kill them. So, they are fighting on pretty much every front ever. But I was creating a Space Marine chapter. So basically, the Space Marines are organized into chapters, which all stemmed from the legions, and they got split up into smaller groups. Standard chapters contain 1,000 each, although some chapters don't follow the Codex Astartes and therefore follow into higher or lower numbers and do other stuff. This particular chapter has 2,000. Is mostly Codex compliant, but has 2,000. Also, there have the Librarians, which are the Psychers of the Warhammer 40k Astartes. They have the psychic powers. They're the Space Marines with psychic powers. They usually there's only a few per chapter, but this one has one per every squad. And there's a whole historical reason for it. I mean, maybe. That is a, a Necron. Oh, and Necron, and I remember Lorgar. I can't never quite remember who Lorgar was, and he just. Oh, the Demon Prince of Chaos. Oh, was he the one who did all the Black Crusades that never, Oh, the Primarch of the... Oh, right. Primarch of the World Bearers. One of the Primarchs Oh, wait, one of the Primarchs that went bad during the Civil War. Oh! Right, Lorgar. Dang it, Lorgar. He is the... Yeah, the Lorgar was the one who wanted to worship the Emperor, and then he got, rebuffed, and now the Emperor is worshipped as a god, despite the fact that he was, so yeah, the Emperor is now a god, and despite the fact that, he specifically, did not want to be worshipped as a god and tried to push atheism, and now the Emperor is a god because, after his death, his only psychic powers, yeah, the psychic powers is a whole thing. He's only a god because everyone in the Imperium thinks he is. He's not a god. He only carries the weight of the god and can interfere in psychic matters because he gains psychic strength because everyone in the Imperium believes in him and worships him as a god. That's where his strength comes from. Any divine power he has is, put forward by the people of the Imperium believing in him. That's where they feed the energy of all of their thoughts and prayers feeds back into the warp and gains his presence in the warp powers, which allows him to power the Astronomicon. That and the 100 souls sacrificed to him every day. But, gives him that. But also, a lot of what he can do because the Imperium believes in him. Now, the orcs, and the ability to manipulate, because they don't have souls. Orcs, fun fact. They just have gloms of orcishness where their souls should be, and the more of that, large amounts of can affect reality. So, yeah, if enough orcs believe something, they can manifest it as per how, Commissar Yark, yeah, the orc arm that Commissar Yark stole only works for him because the orcs respect him and therefore believe it would work for them, because orc technology doesn't usually work for non-orcs because a lot of it is not really based on pure physics as such. A lot of it runs on partially physics and partially the Beck boys said it would work, so it works. But as soon as it gets in the hands of a human who doesn't have the ball of orcishness in the place of has an actual soul instead of a ball of orcishness, and therefore can't render reality the same way, it stops working so much. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The Imperium, yeah, the orcs can do shit like that because they are orcs. That's how they vibe. You know what I mean? But, yeah, the orcs in 40k are just an interesting sort. But they're certainly not anyone to be trifled with. And they, actually, has an infestation of feral orcs. No, therefore orcs are the scariest boys. And the most powerful boys. Not best boys, most powerful boys. There's a difference. They are scary. There you go. Boom. I still need a name for the homeworld. If anyone watching right now has a good idea for a name for the homeworld. Cadia's population. Okay, fair. Yeah. I'm not saying... And if I remember correctly, Cadia fell. And, not the Cadians, but this, at the very end of the 41st millennium, or in the beginning of the 42nd millennium, according to the timeline, Cadia fell. But I started researching the lore before Cadia fell, so well, anyway. Cadia was here. I mean, they weren't, though. I can't just borrow someone else's, homeworld name. Could I? Huh. That's a thought. Turlatia. There we go. Turlatia. Which has a festation of, yes. Turlatia. There's a very specific reason. Yeesh. Yeah, Cadia stands. Absolutely, Cadia does. Cadia still... The Cadian people still stand, and that's what counts, right? The people from there. But Turlatia is a, portmanteau of Turtle Island and Appalachia. Two names for a place. The kind of place that... Well, anyway. Turlatia. And... I mean, the moon needs a name, too. You know what? The name is on the moon of said homeworld. Called Sir. Sir. There you go. Beautiful. Alright, I said I was going to stop streaming at 3, and it is almost 3:20. So I think I'm going to probably end the stream. But before I do, let's see. think that should work. Let me check the link. That's if you feel no pressure. No? Okay. Never mind. Sorry. Oh, right. Hang on. Nope. Wrong one. Sorry. No. That one. That one should, you don't absolutely have to, but it just, putting it out there. Also, don't forget to follow and, like. I know most of you are subbed already. Sub likes, all that good stuff. I also have a, that, which, if you use the code, you can get 20% off. Oops, no, it's all caps. But yeah, basically this really cool. I think I wanted to make sure. You can use the code and get 20% off if you go through that loop. So that's fun. And and yeah, generally you guys are awesome. And the only other thing is my Discord, which is pretty cool if you guys want to come hang out. I am going to get back on a regular schedule. Tomorrow I'm going to do the 1:30-ish stream. I know I haven't been streaming as much as I usually do recently, but so yeah, if you want to come to the stream or come to the Discord, I'll post when I'm streaming, and I do post the schedule. I don't know about Saturday yet. No, definitely not Saturday, because I have a whole host of things to do Saturday. And probably not Sunday either. And then Monday we're going to start again with, Good Morning Greyhawk, or, other stuffs. I'm going to start next week. I'm going to put out a schedule and get it going again, which is posted on the Discord, and also, come say hi. I try to get better memes. My meme game is off, but I try to promise good memes for everyone. But right now, I need a nap or something, and I'm gonna raid. Let's raid Epic Duck Studios. They're playing. Is an artist. They're playing words on stream. They're playing fun word games with the chat, and fun word games with the chat. Cool artist. Paints stuff. Paints fun stuff. So. Alright, let's do it. We're gonna go raid. Bye!